Hi everyone, this is Intuitive Painting of the Week for June 11th through the 17th. And this is the painting that was channeled. The title of the oracle card, I believe, is going to be Embody Your Awakening. And some amazing insights came up this week. Sometimes they come from the painting themselves. This time it was really heavy in the process, so I'm really excited to share that with you, and that's coming right up. And just a reminder that somebody's going to receive this original painting, anyone in the co-creator group or above, and then collectors. Just after July 1st, the oracle deck will be ready, and you'll receive this as a new oracle card. So I hope you enjoy the reading for the painting of the week, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Have a great week. All right, so let's take a look. So I'm just going to lift it up so you can see some of the details in here. And I think it has a really clear message that's coming through visually anyway. It's very powerful, very much. I'm feeling like the title will be Embody Your Awakening, because it's really got this wonderful energy about it. It's really coming up through the person. It looks right here like it says Om. So it's like this all-encompassing energy that's coming up, but it's actually embodied in the person. So that's like the message of it. But before I can get really in depth here, I need to take you back through the process, because there were some really interesting insights that came about letting go and trying to contain our fire of awakening and all these kinds of things. So I'm going to show you real quick. This actually was the second painting because the first one got a little, it took a weird turn, and I'm going to talk about that here. So I'm going to switch over to another slide. Okay, so if you look at, this is the beginning of the first painting, and it really went well. I saw this iris, I started to go with the background and blocked out all these colors, and then I saw the phoenix and started working with that, and then like the lighting changed or something happened, and I like effed it up. Like it got not horrible. It's not a horrible painting. It just didn't feel right anymore. So here I was with the end of the first painting, which is, it's a cool image. It just felt really heavy, and I felt this huge sense of loss. There was an ethereal quality. There was a lightness and a flow in the beginning that just kind of feels like the words that come to me is like petrified wood, like it got burnt into place, or it got like it's too solid and held. So I began again. Like I kept working it and wanting to try to fix it. And then I finally just like let it go. And this morning started over with this one. And you can see like it's still got a very similar image, but just the lightness of it, the movement of it, where the hands here, where she's kind of stuck in, almost just seems, I want to say older, like, it reminds me, like historically older, like, and antiquated, like it feels antiquated. And this feels new, and it feels fresh, and it feels moving. And her, so a couple of things I wanted to talk about were like how her hands and feet are not defined and solid, even her face, like she's very flowing. And that's a big piece of the message here. So if we look at the process, what we learned from the process was like for me, I was trying really hard to create this image that I saw in my head. When I saw the first image, I saw very clearly, I was like, oh, it's an iris with a phoenix in it. It's going to be so cool. And I just kept, trying really hard. And I think the message there is sometimes with our awakening, with with our passions that we're wanting to set loose and let free and let them into the world, we separate ourselves from them and try to contain them. Because that's what I was kind of doing with that other painting. I was blocking it in. It ended up going into the whole thing. It got very muddy and confusing. And although I this image is very neat, it's not what, it just feels heavy and contrived. And I think that's what sometimes happens when we get very excited about something, and then we, the universe brought all these cool things to happen for us, and then we try to contain it and control it and make it happen. And that is really at the core of this message. So I keep hearing the word embodiment. Actually, I was going to go with embodiment. It's it's not separate from us, this passion that we have, this awakening that our spirit is experiencing. It's not a separate thing. It's not something that we can control and contain, but rather move with. And so she's kind of dancing with this amazing light that is her. It's part of her what she's wearing. It's part of coming from her. And so it's related to that second and third chakra activity. So it's coming up out of that second chakra, our senses, very sensual. She's dancing, she's moving her body. It's very much embodiment, feeling, emotions, and creativity, and then moving and allowing that phoenix energy, that rising and awakening energy to come up, and it's going to really, I just keep going back to embodiment. You're going to embody your self-esteem. You're going to embody your willpower and really recognize your power and your strength. And that's what this image is about. That's what this week ahead is, bringing that energy. And we've kind of seen, and I'll go over it at the end of the month, but I'm noticing a pattern in the paintings where this energy has been slowly coming up, this theme of really embracing the power within. And this week, it's a very clear image of, in this spiritual energy, surrounded by that deep, rich purple and indigo, our intuition, our spiritual connection, and just, the light is coming straight from her and radiating out. And it reminds me, her dance really reminds me of kind of maybe a First Nations tribe would here up in North America. She's summoning it through her movements and her feeling it, and her really, so it's about really feeling into your awakening. I just keep going back to embodiment, and what I mean by that is, rather than seeing your spiritual path as an observer or tasks or milestones or things like that, just knowing that it's rising up through you. You are the path. You are the awakening. And then I came across a quote from Marianne Williamson, and it was, and I'm going to have to paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me, but it felt like it really related to this symbol of the phoenix rising and our self-awareness and our awakening. And it was about how when a revolution or any change that we're going to bring about in the world is a personal revolution or reawakening. It all begins within individual, because what we do for ourselves then radiates and affects. We are the world. It affects the world because we are it. And so it's really coming from this inside out perspective this week. Allowing your passions to rise up, carrying your spirit to new heights, rather than trying to control or contain, or even expressing it. So it's like in my painting, like rather than trying to fit my expression into an image, like, because that's what I ended up doing, and I know better. I need to go with the image, and that's what it is. It's like, let it be, like, become it, rather than trying to say, like, okay, I'm gonna cut in here and shape this and that kind of thing. This time I just went with the lines that I saw. I used a very light hand, rather than this very heavy-handed efforting, right? So that's the difference this week. That's the message this week, is look at how much more detail I got with much less effort. I spent 3 times the amount of time painting this one as this one, and there's far more detail and intricacy, and you could just feel the difference of it, and that's how our manifestations and our awakening, it's definitely, there's definitely like a cross feeling here too. So I wanted to mention that some of us may be experiencing this new integration of, opposing things coming together. She's very, very centered, so like I do most weeks, splitting it, dividing the line here and here. It's definitely talking about this awakening, right? So if this is the line of awareness, then what's below here is coming into our awareness, and what's above is what we're already aware of. So we're pretty aware, but this is coming right up from that line. So this is a new awareness bursting forth, and I believe it's related to an awareness of our personal power and our self-esteem, and just our fire of creation, like our sensuality, our ability to feel things on a deeper level and what that means for us. So really awesome. A couple of words that came to me too was like, when we try to hold our fire too tightly, it turns to ash. If you think about it, fire needs space to breathe. It needs, when you have a fire, you give it room so that the oxygen could get into it, and that fuels it. If we contain it or hold it too closely, it just turns to ash or petrifies. So allow your passions space. I also feel like the goddess Pele, I feel like there's some fire dancing and stuff like that. So those are some things that, those are some considerations if you're wanting to work with this energy of this week, to use those elements of fire, call upon archangels and ascended masters and goddesses and deities that are related to this energy. Wearing orange and purple, I think, is a great, I'm wearing orange today because it feels right, but that's something that definitely just feels like a really power-packed week. Lots of transformation, and just again a reminder that to embody your awakening, to be present in it, be in the here and now, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, move with it rather than trying to contain it, and you're going to have an awesome week ahead. All right, leave me your comments, let me know what you think, and be blessed. Bye-bye.